July 13th through July 19th. Now we're heading to a Cancer new moon on the 14th. And on the 13th, we have the moon in Cancer. So watery, intuitive. Remember, Mercury's hanging out in Cancer also. And on Tuesday at 5:44 a.m., we'll have the peak of the Cancer new moon. Now, this Cancer new moon is going to be square Saturn, and it's also going to be conjunct together with Mercury in retrograde. So this is a good time for honoring your roots. It's a good time to do something like ancestor.com, research family history, spend time with older family. Great time to go through old pictures. That's very Mercury retrograde, especially in the sign of Cancer, emotional sign of the home, the mother, that kind of stuff. So enjoy this new moon, but remembering that it's with Saturn, and Saturn is like the grounding force of your life. So it really does lean itself to respecting your ancestors. But remember, Saturn isn't going to let you shortcut any rules or anything like that. Now, remember to make moon water. Put water in a jar. Mason jar's fine. Put it in the window. Try to do that a day or two before the new moon, day or two after, and then drink that water. It's really aligning to the moon energy. Now, on July 15th, Wednesday, the moon will have moved into Leo the night before, and then Venus is going to be square Uranus. Now, this is said to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Sudden plot twist, an unexpected attraction to someone completely outside your usual type could rock your world, or an abrupt revelation could alter your view on your current partner. There's a need for space. If a relationship has felt rigid or it's felt suffocating or overly micromanaged, this transit will spark an intense urge to break free, demand boundaries, or seek more breathing room. It's okay to need alone time. This Mercury retrograde in Cancer is going to bring up a lot of emotion. And so when situations come in where the energy is not as smooth, when Venus squares Uranus, maybe it's a good time to step away. Maybe it's a time to just take it out for yourself. Okay. All right. Now, I also had down boredom interruptions. Couples stuck in a predictable routine may experience sudden bickering or erratic behavior, which is simply a mass craving for new excitement. So maybe it's time to bring some new excitement into your relationship, but maybe go think about it for a little while and regroup later. Now, on July 15th, more stuff is happening. Uranus sextile Neptune. Now remember, your sextile is a positive relationship between two planets, and Uranus is the oh wow planet, rules the internet, and Neptune is a creative planet. So this is when things like a video could go viral, or like your business and orders are pouring in. And maybe you're like, oh, I want to expand my business now. And you feel like all this fire energy, but you have to learn how to manage it. You can have creative breakthroughs, but you have to make sure that you're not overcommitting. And also, we're in the middle of a Mercury retrograde, so we shouldn't be making major decisions. We should be considering things, looking at things, pondering things, but not really moving forward with it yet. Now, a lot of astrologers are calling the July 16th through July 21st extraordinary flowing energy, okay? And on the 18th, 4 planets are going to be at 4 degrees. So we've got Jupiter at 4 degrees Leo, Neptune at 4 degrees Aries, Uranus at 4 degrees Gemini, and Pluto at 4 degrees Aquarius. So they're forming sextiles and trines and oppositions. So it's pretty wild energy there. So really just pay attention to what's going on. It's marketed as very positive, but it's going to be pretty intense too. So pay attention to what's going on. I was researching on the internet. They were calling it a barbaral basket, which I had never heard of, or a partial grand sextile. So this is an ultra rare cosmic event, and it's supposed to bring us balance of supporting energy. And a lot of astrologers call this a blueprint for a modern day renaissance, collective breakthroughs, and structural innovation. So again, this is what I was talking about when I was talking about the outer planets. They're generational planets. So this isn't like all of a sudden mid-July, we're like, there's going to be world peace. We can be hitting points where those are the shifts when we look back. So on July, 16th, the moon moves into Virgo in the evening. We'll have the moon in Virgo the 16th, the 17th, the 18th. Now remember, Virgo's ruled by Mercury too. Mercury's still retrograde. Great time to sort through things and clean things up and get things in order and get paperwork in order and go through your desk. You never know what you'll find. Then on Sunday, the 19th, the moon moves into Libra. And so once the moon moves into Libra, all those 4 degrees planets, it makes a pattern of a grand sextile, often called the Star of David formation. So really wild things happening in the skies. Fast track evolution, collective desire for peace. I feel it. I hope you do too. So peace is what we could all use. All right. Now, on the 18th, Uranus is trine Pluto. So trine's positive, right? Uranus is in the air sign of Gemini. Pluto's in the air sign of Aquarius. And Neptune is at the midpoint between them. This is long-lasting change. This can bring about long-lasting change. Again, making the world a better place. But we have to stay grounded. This aspect is really rare. It hasn't happened since the 1920s. Okay, so we are in wild times, in a wild month. Now we're going to pull some cards, but we have one more thing. We have Mars trine Saturn on the 19th, Sunday the 19th. Moon moves into Libra right after lunch. Mars, the planet of action, making a positive aspect with Saturn, the planet of responsibility. There can be agreements. Saturn is kind of like, not that there can be agreements, but a trine is like an agreement. And Saturn is kind of coaching Mars, okay? So Mars wants to do everything, and Saturn's like one project at a time, learn a skill, take a class, improve your life, and don't try to get it all done. Okay, so let's give you a few cards for this wildly intense week, July 13th through the 19th. Let's see what the cards have to say, if they're going to be as wild as all that astrology information was. All right, let me get you one here. Remember, I haven't looked at any of these cards. I never look at them ahead of time. I like to read them right as you're hearing it, and I think it works better that way. All right, so your first card is Ace of Wands. We had an Ace of Swords in this position last week. Now we've got the Ace of Wands, Ace of Fire. There's a lot of people kind of in the branches of that wand. We have somebody meditating at the bottom. New ideas, a lot of energy up in the air, right? A lot of fire energy up in the air, but he's down there grounded at the bottom. He's actually sitting in the hand. So he's not technically grounded, but he has assistance. It kind of reminds me of saying that Saturn is kind of coaching Mars. Okay, we have assistance, someone with wisdom that won't let things get out of control. We have the Empress card here. Kyoto, Japan. How beautiful to have Japan with the cherry blossoms as the Empress card. So more grounded energy, earth energy. I was saying there's not a lot of planets in earth signs, and the moon will be in Virgo all weekend, so that can help us feel a little bit more grounded. And Saturn will help with that too. We have the Five of Pentacles here. Speaking of more grounded energy, Five of Pentacles, although 5 is a number of change, Pentacles anything of value, and this is often the poor me or the poverty mentality card. So interesting coming in next to the Empress, which couldn't be more the opposite of that if it tried. Now you have the innocence card. Oh, it reminds me of my older daughter. Innocence, how cute. And card number 34 here, she almost looks like the Empress from the Muka deck. It says, follow whimsy. My creativity is vast and limitless. A queen's muse whispers words of fancy into her ear. The message makes her eyes widen. She almost falls off her throne. Symbols: a carved lion head, take pride in what you have, or a person well guarded from aggression. Green cross, break free from what holds you back and grab hold of the bounty of nature's gifts. And white bird, time to celebrate or aim high in the situation. Okay, so it's like aim high, don't fall into the poor me, because we know it's too easy. We always can. And this innocence card, this purity, we've actually got 2 babies in these cards. And so, and then follow whimsy. So it's kind of got like a childlike feel, has a fun vibe to it. Enjoy the beauty, those cherry blossoms, right? It's a fleeting moment. They're only going to be in season for so long.